Hey, everybody. We're here with Eric Grundhauser, who is the author of Spider-Man For Dummies, among many other things, by the way, we have to mention. You also do other kinds of writing, and hopefully we'll get to talk about that. But how are you doing today, Eric?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Well, we're good. We're doing good.
The Dummies books are perfect for Brian. He loves them. He's a dummy. So
There we go.
I get it. I got it.
Thanks.
Now it's funny because I don't know if you know, but we've been interviewing all of the authors of this.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them. Yeah.
Mhm,
And
yeah.
we call you the dummy guys.
Oh, that's great. I'd like to say you're the first, but
Yeah, but definitely not, right?
no, but I think yours is probably the most kind-hearted. That's
Yeah.
so.
No, in all honesty, I think that these are absolutely fantastic. A great idea. I mean, because we grew up on the Dummies books, and they were like computers and all that other stuff that we had to read. This is something just, if you're a fan at any level, a longtime fan, a new fan, just a fan of the movies, and you want to know about the comics, these books are perfectly done.
Yeah.
For people who at any level of comic book, I love them, and that's why we've been doing these interviews. And Eric is actually our third interview with the guys who have written for dummy books. They're just so well done, in my opinion.
Especially for people like us who are like really interested in the history of the medium and all of that stuff. What can I ask you? Why? This is the first thing I thought of when I saw Spider-Man For Dummies. Is Spider-Man has been consistently popular since his introduction.
Yeah.
Like, there's been very few times in Spider-Man's history where you could say like, oh, he wasn't doing that well, or they weren't selling that well. Well,
Right.
The TV show wasn't very good.
The TV show didn't do well.
Well, yeah, but the comics have
70s
always,
one?
Comics always done.
yeah, the late
Was it
70s.
70s one? Yeah.
Yeah, but the
Had very little
comics,
Spider-Man in it.
Yeah.
yeah. But the comics have always consistently done well, and other characters like Batman in the early 80s faced cancellation. Like, it was almost canceled. Like, there was almost no Batman comic. But Spider-Man has never kind of waned at all. So why do you think the character is like that? Why is he so popular and consistently popular?
Yeah, that's a good question, a good observation. I mean, I think the simplest answer is that he's the most relatable superhero.
Mhm.
He's the superhero that is all of us, no matter who you are. I mean, part of that is due to his costume. The nature of his costume is that anyone could be under there. Any kid, any young adult, any adult can, look at Spider-Man and say, that could be me, under there, or someone enough like me. And then even outside his costume, he is like one of the things that makes Spider-Man, especially with Peter Parker, but also with Miles Morales and the other people who've taken up the mantle. But the book focuses mostly on Peter Parker, but is that he is all, again, one of us. He's relatable, like he experiences heartache. He is, irrationally mad sometimes. He gets frustrated. He makes mistakes. He's broke, and sometimes he's not, he has ups and downs and ins and outs. He has like real relationships. And it's not to say that other heroes don't have these, but I think there are a few heroes, probably none, that have had such a consistent characterization that really, no matter who, like what flavor of writer and artist is taking him on, like really still hits that that inherent relatability to him. And I think that's really important. I think, there's other elements, but I think that's the biggest one.
Yeah. Well, that's a great answer. Yeah. He's the character who everyone feels like they are.
Well, even like think about, like for me, think about as when growing up, he was a teenager like you were and now in the Spider-Verse, the Peter Parker character is a father and he's raising a kid, and that's me now. So he's always me.
Right. Yeah. He's always
I can identify
reflection of the audience
with who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I mean, even I've mentioned this, I think on a different podcast I did, it's something that I don't think gets talked about a whole lot, is like even his physicality is something that is more relatable than a lot of others. I could quit my job and everything else that I do in my life and devote it to working out, and I'll never look like Superman.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
but I might be able to look a little like Spider-Man. Right.
Right.
Like a acrobatic, sort of more human in some ways, like physique. And just that visual is like so arresting. And again, has been that way since day one, since Ditko, you know.
The only problem with that going to the gym would be it would take away from your ability to read comic books more. Like
yeah, exactly.
An hour less in reading comics, I'd have to be in the gym. That's my excuse for not going to the gym.
That's it.
1 hour.
It's the only 1 hour.
I will not take away 1 hour.
I will not take 1 hour of comic book reading to a workout. No, I'm good.
I understand. I'm
very good.
That's why you don't like those omnibuses. They're too heavy.
That's right. They're too heavy. That's exactly. That's why I like single issues, because that's much easier for me to hold.
I understand.
This is even getting there. This is getting a little bit, you know.
That's a little too much, huh? Too much for you.
So what went into why Spider-Man? Why were you chosen for Spider-Man? And to give us the gory details of what went into it. This had to be, you know, so much research to get this together.
So I'll just give you sort of my like trajectory to getting the project. So I've been a writer for many years, mostly as a journalist and as a reporter. I moved to New York in 2005. I'm originally from Salt Lake City. I moved to New York to come to the big city and write comic books. That was my goal. My career counselor did not know what to tell me when I told them that that's what I wanted to do. So I just kind of moved here and hoped for the best. My trajectory didn't really work out that way. I kind of banged my head against getting into comics for a bunch of years and ended up but continued writing and ended up going into like reporting and journalism and a lot of nonfiction writing.
Right.
So, but I never really gave up my sort of passion and want to work with Marvel and like in comics and things. And so eventually I did get a job on the digital team at Marvel. And when I was there, and I was sort of working behind the scenes, doing a lot of like connecting teams. So making sure that studios is doing their best to talk to consumer products and sort of boring behind the scenes stuff. But while I was there, I was able to make some connections with people in licensed publishing, which is how this book came about, and other parts of the company. And I, expressed to them like, hey, my background is as a writer, and I would love if there are projects that come up, like, I'd love to pitch some, I'd love to write some, just kind of doing the due diligence of being a writer and trying to get your name in front of the right people. Get them interested in what you do. Then, excuse me, I got, Disney did a massive round of layoffs in 2023. I think like 9,000 people got laid off or something. I was one of those. So like a year passed and I didn't hear anything. I thought, when I moved on, was doing other things and got a call about this book and was like, hey, would you be interested in doing this book? Because I'd also expressed like who my favorite Marvel properties were, one of which being Spider-Man. And then that's sort of, that was the genesis of how I came to the project. And then once I started working with the editors at Wiley, I saw that you've spoken with some of the other authors about nitty gritty of how a Dummies book is put together. So I won't rehash that, but we went through that process, table of contents, figuring out what we want to talk about. The scope, I think, for this book actually ended up expanding a little and contracting a little because there is so much Spider-Man and there's so many different Spider-Man to talk about. And when someone was like, hey, do you want to write a book about all of Spider-Man? I was like, do I? Here's a million things to write about. And they're like, okay. What if? Build it back. And so that's how the focus sort of like I came down to being about Peter Parker, the Peter Parker Spider-Man journey and in the comic books, which is what this book focuses on. So it's like really the genesis of Spider-Man and like the classic vision of him, and touching on things about the Spider-Verse and other Spider-Man as well. But focus. Sorry, that was a lot of talking, but
keep going.
Any questions?
Now, you said you mentioned other writing. Your other writing isn't too far off from this, though, right? You write about pop culture and things like that.
In the past, yeah. I mean, I've written about a lot of things, really. I think the bulk of my sort of reporting and journalistic storytelling came out when I was working at a place called Atlas Obscura, which was like a travel. I
know it. Okay. Yeah, I think I follow them on Instagram.
Okay, sure, yeah. I worked there as a staff writer and editor, and I worked there for like 10 years. So I was a few different things, but always creating content for them. And so I started out sort of writing about sort of strange mysteries and interesting things around the world, but always wanted to like try and push my editors to be like, well, what if we write about like mysteries of pop culture and things like that, and sort of things that way. And so like I eventually did a story years ago about the 1970s Spider-Man album, Rock Reflections of a Superhero, and like how that came together.
Wait, I didn't even know this. What is this?
It is one of my favorite things. I actually thought I had a CD, but I couldn't find it the other day. In 1974, I might be off on the year, but close to it. There was...
Yeah. Okay.
It released, and there's a music album that was released called Spider-Man: Rock Reflections of a Superhero, and it is a full rock album, like concept album with narrated interstitials narrated by Stan Lee, and like fully sung. You know, and there's great songs like Peter Stays, Spider-Man Goes, a sad ballad about how Spider-Man.
I know this.
Stanley really wanted to be a rock star. Stanley really wanted a rock star. That's why he tries it. He tries it if you follow, he tries multiple times to get a rock star out of a Marvel comic. It never works.
Dazzler was one of the attempts.
It never works.
Yeah.
Well, that's arguable. I mean, that album is a hell of a artifact. You know, like there's some real bangers on there. Is all I'm saying.
It didn't sell.
Really?
It didn't hit sales or anything. It didn't really.
No. He
didn't tour with Spider-Man like he wanted.
I just have this vision of someone singing in a Spider-Man costume, like next to David Bowie in some alternate universe.
I think that is very much and John Romita did a bunch of like bespoke art for it. So it's like there's all these other heroes like in bands. So you got like Black Panther playing the bass and like
really
and stuff. Yeah,
I have to look this up. This is amazing.
Highly recommended.
Oh my God,
atlasobscura.com.
There we go.
Anyhow, I was like, so I was always pushing them to try and do more pop culture stuff. I read about video games, and you know, trying to get that going a little more. And then when I went to Marvel, I did some, not a ton of writing, but some of the writing for Marvel.com. And that's how it sort of all came together. What else? Yeah.
Do you have a Substack?
I don't have a Substack. It's
okay.
And a point of discussion within my own mind for a while.
I can imagine. Yeah.
But no, I mean, so now, like, as I've, over the recent years, I've tried to move a little more into the fiction world. I just released the past couple months a fiction podcast that's just a real short anthology of short little horror stories, like audio horror stories. It was really fun to put together.
We were just reading about that. What was the title of it again?
It's called Pressing the Flesh.
Yeah, Pressing the Flesh.
Okay.
It's just an anthology of short, often, sort of topically minded horror comedy stories. And it was like a lot of fun and really great, like a really great experience.
Cool.
And I'm there's the other project that I have that's in the works is called the Strange Ways Almanac, which is, I always struggle to describe it. It's sort of a like an atlas of imaginary places.
Right.
Okay, cool.
And there's a little more to it, but that should be seeing a physical release early next year.
Okay.
And so that's like really exciting.
Very cool.
Yeah, and so and always other things, but
that's good. Always keep busy.
Sort of my thing. I do like to keep busy.
Yeah. So do we. Now, just give us a little bit of background on how you got into comic books. What's your journey into comic book collecting, comic book reading, your love of comics?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been a big, I've been into comic books for most of my life. I tell the story a little bit in the book, but my first comic was given to me in I think 1989 when I was, my granddad bought it for me at a gas station in rural Montana. He worked railroads and I'd gone to visit him and he took me and bought me a comic book. And I was I think superficially aware of superheroes as you are as a child, but
sure.
I never really read comics, and it just hooked me. It was a spectacular Spider-Man annual.
Okay.
With actually, I've probably got it.
And you have it right there. Look at that.
I've got it right here. It's not the original. I was not a smart enough kid to keep that sort of thing, but or maybe it's not. I don't know. I don't want to waste this. I'm trying to find it. Oh, here it is. This is it. The Spectacular Spider-Man.
Oh, Cloak and Dagger.
Oh, I have that.
On the cover.
I have that. Yeah.
Atlantis.
Very
attack.
nice.
Like
The Bagley art.
First comic was in the middle of a big, confusing crossover.
Right. Yeah.
I liked it. To me, it was like, just like, well, wait, what is even happening? There's all this other stuff, and I got to now go and explore this whole world I didn't know about.
How old were you?
Would have been 8, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe even a little younger.
Yeah.
And so from there, it was sort of off to the races. I really got I was always very fascinated with, I think, New York. And so the fact that Marvel was like set in New York for the most part was really appealing to me. I wasn't like strictly a Marvel kid, but I mostly was a Marvel kid. And then later on, I started picking up comics off the spinner racks at Walden Books, and like I got like Infinity Gauntlet #1, which was another like formative story for me, where I was just like, how can they do this to the universe? This is like illegal. When are the police going to show up? They can't do this.
Right.
It just like blew my mind, and I loved it. I kept going from there, and like in high school, I was the kid who was the guy who was into comics when like nobody else was, and this is sort of a like obviously aging myself because now it's not like a world that exists.
Yeah, we know. We grew up in that same. We grew up in a time like that too.
Yeah, well, we grew up more in the '80s, but it was the same thing where you like
you hit it. You didn't want anyone
didn't really talk about it too much. Yeah.
Well, I tried to own it as my like this is my alt thing. Yep. Like I'm the guy that like likes comics, I had like a Sandman t-shirt and like I got a Kingdom Come t-shirt, which really confuses everybody, but like like that was my identity, right? Is like I was the guy, and you would have the friends that would come to me and be like, I heard the comics aren't that bad. What's good, and I was like, I was that guy. And then the movies came out, and comics are like for everybody.
Yep. Yeah. Which is a good thing.
It is a good thing. It's a great thing. I think I felt an emotional reaction to it that I think there was a little of that, when like your favorite band, like everybody gets into your favorite band, and you're like, well, that was mine.
Yeah, I've always been here. Wait, I've always been here. You guys weren't here. Hold on a second.
But also, like, okay, I want people to experience this.
Right.
And that,
sure.
I'm mature enough to suck it up and say, like, it's okay.
It's for everyone. Everyone can come on board.
I don't know. I don't think I'm that mature. I still bristle when I see like really young kids wearing Nirvana t-shirts. I'm like, it doesn't feel right.
Again,
that's because you're an old man.
It is.
I'm same way though. Like I have an emotional reaction to it when I see it. I'm like,
right.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Come on, name one song. Wait, no.
Oh no. Don't name any songs.
Like I think we should be embracing people wanting to get into these things. We
should.
Yeah.
Because I also think back to like when we were in school or younger, and it was this felt like a constant battle to get people to take comics seriously, right?
Oh yeah,
and it was just this constant like you're trying to evangelize for these stories that were so impactful and so powerful, and people are like, you mean with like superheroes, isn't that like you have grown out of that now? Yeah,
and you're like no, wait, you don't. Yeah.
Wait, you don't still get that now? Because I still get that now. You don't.
Well, I think the spreading reputation of things like Sandman and Invisibles in the background there, or Watchmen, that's helped a lot with people being like, oh wait, no, this can be taken seriously.
Mouse was a huge. That was a big move forward. Yeah. Big move forward. Awards that outside of comic books, and people said, wait, people who write comic books really know what they're doing?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Right.
Well, and
it's very strange.
To show how my snobbery can also evolve. It's like now when I'm like when people are like, oh yeah, like I read Watchmen, and I was like, oh great,
Watchmen.
Like, everybody reads Watchmen.
Who hasn't read that?
Of course, did. Very unfair, but
It's the comic book equivalent of being like, oh, you have the greatest hits. That's nice.
you kind of right, exactly. It's like, oh, you just got into this obscure album. Like, oh, cool. You read The Invisibles. Talk to me about when you get through Flex Mentallo.
Oh yeah. Good luck with that.
That's the compares to us saying when people say that, we're like, well, we bought it off the shelf. I bought Watchmen off the shelf.
Yeah, I know.
I bought that when that came out on monthly. I had to wait for the next issue for a month.
Oh, I didn't have the monthlies. I bought the trade first.
I bought the monthly.
Yeah, I had the trade
when that first came out.
I was a little too young to buy the monthlies, but I definitely bought the trade. Like, I think my trade is still the one I bought back in the 90s, whenever.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say again, like going back to, I really, I think it's important that people like do have a way in, and it doesn't feel snobbish, because I will say the thing I don't miss is walking into a comic store and getting that vibe that like, who the hell are you?
Hated that.
That's a good point, because we go to a lot of comic shops and we never get that vibe anymore.
Ever.
It's a very welcoming place now for everyone who comes in.
Yeah. Now back to Spider-Man real quick. Yeah. Do you have a favorite, after you've done all this research, do you have a favorite era of Spider-Man?
Well, actually, a better question is, did you have one, and has it changed?
And did it change? That is a good question. Yeah.
Wrote it.
That is a good question. So for the book, I tried to read, I won't say I've read every Spider-Man comic, but very close.
Right.
I've read almost all the runs through, like Amazing, Spectacular, Peter Parker, blank Spider-Man.
Web of Spider-Man.
What's that?
Web of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Web, Tangled Web, which is, I think, an underrated series.
Marvel Team Up or no?
Again, I haven't read everyone. But
but is that included? Marvel Team Up is included?
Yeah, I read a fair amount of Marvel Team Up. I didn't. It was a little more scattershot with that one.
Okay.
Like I'd already read some. Like there's that great issue with like Sandman and the Thing.
Yeah,
like it's one of my faves. Anyways,
and it's that story still comes back today. Like they recently referenced it in the Thing series Ryan North is writing. How really? they're kind of like the Thing and Sandman are friends. Like even though Sandman is bad, they're still friends, dating back to that issue.
That's so strange. Yeah.
It's a fun issue. I think that's great. It's like a cool, and it is a very, I think, memorable issue because it's so natural in that way. Yeah. Anyhow, but I think in reading it, if you would have asked me before this, I think I would have said maybe, not my favorite era, my most nostalgic era was the 90s, right? Like because that's what I came up.
That's when you read.
That's when I read it, so give me those Eric Larson, Revenge of the Sinister Six stuff, rereading it, I actually think my favorite eras are now like on either end of that. So like, the Romita run, Ditko into Romita, I guess you could break it up if you want, but like that original, I don't know, 100 some odd, 50 issues. Just untouchable. Like good comics, amazing writing, incredible art, just memorable new characters every issue, and they just unimpeachable. So good. And then I think that there have been a lot of recent runs that I think are really like will be remembered as pretty like seminal runs. I think
Ultimate is fantastic. If you read the Ultimate is fantastic right now.
The new Hickman one,
the new Ultimate,
absolutely fantastic.
I've been liking that a lot.
Me too.
I mean, I even like mainline. I think Chip Zdarsky's Spectacular run is so good. Just really, an amazing like look back at like what has brought Spider-Man to who he is. For my tastes, I really have been enjoying Zeb Wells. Well, not have been. I really enjoyed reading Zeb Wells' run.
Yeah,
because I like a funny Spider-Man, and I like when comics get wild, and I think it really brought both of those. I just like, again, the way he was relating to the city, to his villains, to his supporting cast, which I'm sure we can talk about or will talk about. Spider-Man's supporting cast is easily, I think, the best in superhero comics.
Definitely. His rogues gallery is up there with Batman, especially.
100%.
Just as far as iconic characters.
Yeah. and his rogues gallery and his like his friends gallery. His allies gallery.
Yes.
You know, like you just don't see that with as many superheroes because I think narratively it's a hard thing to pull off. It's how do you create characters that are as indelible as this exciting superhero? But Spider-Man has the benefit of being relatable. You know, he being one of us. And so he has problems and interpersonal problems with friends just like we do. And, you know, it's really created some incredible characters.
One of my favorite storylines that they ever involved the character in was when it was either Spider-Man and Deadpool or Deadpool and Spider-Man series.
Yeah.
Where Deadpool had no idea that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. And at one point he becomes so jealous that he thinks that Spider-Man is spending too much time with Peter Parker. That's why he's not hanging out with Deadpool enough. So he decides to kill Peter Parker so that Spider-Man will spend more time with him. It was it was just such their relationship, how much like Spider-Man could not stand Deadpool was one of the funniest things they did. I'm trying to remember who wrote that one. It might have been Jerry Dogan. I don't know, but it was really good. Yeah. But that was interpersonal relationships are what makes Spider-Man so much fun, you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite, I think, recent issues, because someone was asking me about like what I think the best Spider-Man issue is, which you get a different answer on a different day. But, you know, I think you have, again, like on one end, you have Spider-Man 50, which is maybe one of the best comics ever written. It is the quintessential superhero comic in my mind. You know, the whole arc of him like not being sure of himself, all of that. Right. And then I think Spider-Man 900 doesn't get enough play, which was Ed McGuinness on art. I think Zeb Wells writing it, and it's Spider-Man or it's Peter's birthday, and all of his people come together, and then Doc Ock's like sentient arms come and kidnap Jameson to get Peter Parker's attention, and it's all about like the living brain. He has to team up with the Sinister Six a little bit. It just like encapsulates his whole world in this one madcap adventure, and it's great. You get to see his allies, you know, sort of bouncing off one another, and like, you know, exploring their like relationships, like Liz Allen awkwardly meeting with Eddie Brock, and like you know, all these other just sort of interpersonal things happening. And it's such a like fun and perfectly, I feel like, tuned look at Spider-Man's world.
That's cool. Yeah, I never read that one.
I didn't read that either.
Yeah, I gotta check that out. I just reread not that long ago. I reread the night Gwen Stacy died for something that we did for the channel, and I haven't read that in so long. Probably read it in a collection somewhere when I was a kid. But what a great arc that was! What a great like that too.
Gwen dies, then Green Goblin dies.
Then Green Goblin dies, and then there's those two issues are just incredibly done. Everything about them is just, it works so well.
You're also a big fan of Craven's Last Hunt.
Oh, I love Craven's Last Hunt. Yeah, Craven's Last Hunt was amazing. Yeah, but that's like an outlier. That's a weird story.
It's a weird
for
story.
Spider-Man.
Not a lot of Spider-Man in it.
No, and you have hallucinations and like all this surreal stuff going on. Yeah, it's very odd for Spider-Man, but really, really good.
It's great. I mean, I think it's rightfully remembered as one of the best Spider-Man stories, even if he's not in it that much. I also think what doesn't get enough play is the follow-up that Dan Slott did, the Grim Hunt, the Gauntlet and the Grim Hunt that led into that.
Yeah,
just another like really great tour through Spider-Man's world, you know, of like to face off against his greatest villains, and then having this culminating sort of event of like trying to resurrect Kraven. It's just really fun, a little convoluted, but I thought really like a fun story.
Well, Spider-Man's one of those characters that because of his history, it inevitably becomes convoluted sometimes if you try to involve a little too much continuity in the stories. Yeah, because if you want to go from A to B, you have to remember that in the past, B had been involved with C in some way, and then C and D can't be together. And then, it ends up being this whole, I don't know how people write him anymore.
Or write a book about his whole history.
Yeah, like how do you even organize it?
I think the trick is to ignore some of it.
Yeah. Okay. Like the Clone Saga. Like you just leave that out.
Well, we can talk about the Clone Saga, which I did find surprising reading back. But I mean, to talk on that other point, like, I don't mean like ignore it like it didn't happen. Just
Right.
kind of like I think you have to focus on like what's happening now, and things that aren't pertinent to that story aren't pertinent to that story. You know,
Gotcha.
it's like, again, it's like, think of like your friends, you know, when you're talking with them, and you know, it's not like every friend that you have that's gone through divorce, the first thing you bring up is like, you know, well, I know you got divorced 7 years ago. What else has been going on? You know, like, it's, you know, you kind of just slide into what you need, you know.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha.
But absolutely. I think it's like funner. Like, I always think of it as like a funner, like thing. It just makes it a richer world to call back to, because you can't ignore it. Or, you know, you can go back and say, oh yeah, these guys had like a connection back in, you know, 200 issues ago that never got resolved, that I can now like, play on, and it makes an author seem like a genius. And it's great. Oh, and then the Clone Saga. So, you know, as I'm sure you guys experienced it pretty much in real time, just like I did.
Sort of, kind of,
And I remember it when it was coming out, and I'd sort of moved off of those books because they didn't, I just wasn't vibing. And then the aftermath, obviously, for years, it was instantly like known as, you know, a troubled sort of initiative.
Yeah.
I will say, going back and rereading all of it, it's not as bad as I remember it being told.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not like it's the worst comic arc ever, but it's hard to follow.
It can be hard to follow, and I think rereading it, what struck me is that like it is such a different experience reading it now, when we can sit down and parse through on Marvel Unlimited or in an omnibus if you've got the muscles.
Sure.
To you know, like, get the whole story in one sitting. It's such a different experience than what it was experienced in the day, right?
Yeah.
You had a month between every issue. Maybe because there were multiple titles being released at once, you would get one and then you'd get the other. Maybe you missed one, so you had to back up. And so now you're trying to figure it out over here. So it, like, I think in the day was a far more sort of complicated experience than it is now. And so reading it now, it's still pretty complicated, but much more readable.
Right.
And there's some like really nice tales in there, and some like really cool art, some head scratchers, you know, who Scryer? We don't know. But, you know, but all said, like, I think history has vindicated some of that.
Oh, good. Yeah. I mean, I haven't read it in a while. Maybe I should go back and reread it and see what I think of it.
I don't want to oversell it, but
you could do it tonight.
Tonight.
Coming soon from Brian. Brian is going to do complete
history of the Clone Saga. Yeah, that would kill me.
That's a great live stream, right? Is like you read the Clone Saga in one sitting.
There's me crying,
and one person watches. That's perfect.
One person watches. Every half an hour, you go, huh?
Yeah. Wait, what?
We did 24 hours of the Clone Saga.
24 hours.
What happened to Spider Side?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Who's your favorite Spider-Man villain?
Favorite Spider-Man villain? Probably a toss-up somewhere between Sandman, who I really like, and I'll explain why, and the Vulture.
Okay.
I guess maybe, let me rephrase that. These might not be my favorite. These are the villains that I think have more potential than they don't get enough credit.
Right.
I think Sandman is a really cool villain, and I think like his power is cool, and his whole arc of being like the reluctant sort of thug, you know, that gets powers and sort of doesn't know how to not be a villain.
Right.
I think is always really compelling, and I think some writers have done some really interesting things with like the extent of his powers, you know, in more recent years. So I've always liked Sandman. And even when I was growing up and he was in the 90s, when he was like a reserve Avenger and things, I always thought was like cool that like him.
Yeah.
And then I think Vulture, again, is like I think when he's done best, is a character who like is motivated by something that like just no one really deals with in comics, which is just like being old, like being like aging, you know?
Yeah.
Like I think as a character, he gets in his best conceptions, gets to like embody that, like there's that, it's, I think, a 2-parter called Funeral Arrangements or something. But it's great. It's the best Vulture story I think I've read, but it's like he's dying because his power pack has given him cancer or something. And so he has to go and get his affairs in order. And it's this sort of bittersweet thing where he goes to attack Aunt May, but really he's going to apologize and like make amends before he dies. It's great. But I think he's like always had a bunch of potential. And you know what? Who else I'll add to that? Mysterio.
Mysterio's a good character. Yeah,
love Mysterio. I feel like he hasn't had his grand moment yet.
Okay.
He's had some good stories, specifically the Daredevil run. Surprisingly, I think is probably the most biggest one. But I feel like he's that character that I'm waiting for the Craven's Mysterio's last time.
Mysterio, like to really focus on him.
Yeah,
bring out his full potential.
Pitch to Marvel. Mysterio's last. You have a connection now. Pitch it. Mysterio's last time to Marvel. You'd be a great Vulture as a cosplay. That'd be great for you.
20 years younger than that character.
Not anymore.
Hey guys, we're all going to be the Vulture one day.
Yeah, it's true.
Brian's just there quicker than the rest of us.
I'm a little closer than most, but
perfect concept. I remember the Vulture from the early Web of Spider-Mans. He was really when he came out to me. Like it was a big story arc. Was him in the beginning of Web of Spider-Man. Web of Spider-Man. His early villain is Vulture that he fights.
It's funny. Like my reading in Spider-Man mostly stuck with Amazing.
I read Web,
and then
Spectacular was huge with me too.
And then when McFarlane kicked off the just Spider-Man, I read a lot of that. But like Spectacular and Web, I really I should get back.
I have a really strange favorite Spider-Man. I love Carry On.
Carry On.
Sure, Carry On. The
I love that, it's because when I was a kid, I bought an issue and it was just such a creepy character, and it was just
I don't know who Carry On is. Why can't I remember?
From Spectacular Spider-Man.
Okay.
Well, he was big he had a big part in Maximum Carnage too.
Yeah.
I think.
Yes.
He was part of Carnage's like murder family. But he's sort of like kind of like a ghoul.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. He's like a ghoul. He's kind of like a Halloween character. He's very like
really.
It's from Spectacular. I'm
gonna look that up.
It's a good character. As a kid, I picked up one and it was kind of scary, but kind of like that. I really want to be kind of scared of this. It's Spider-Man battling this horror character, and it's stuck with me for a long time. I don't know the last time he appeared even in anything. They don't use him really ever. So
I don't even know if I can remember what the last use of him was.
I honestly can't remember the last use of him.
It's so funny. There's so many, like in a character like Spider-Man, there's got to be so many villains that just kind of got pushed to the side.
In the 70s?
The 70s had some crazy. Wasn't it like a disco villain? That was.
Oh, you mean the Hypno Hustler?
Hypno Hustler.
That was him. Yep. The Hypno Hustler. That was a weird
made an
character.
Action figure of the Hypno Hustler. No joke.
Really?
Like last month or something.
Now, do you cover that in the book? Some of the weirder, like the ones that really didn't make it, like
not as much. I mean, I think the focus of the book was there's too many. Would I have loved to devote an entire chapter to the odd forgotten absolutely
the Hypno Hustler. Great.
Again, the book is really meant to like be able to bring people in. And when I was thinking about the who is the audience for this, right? Like, because Spider-Man, I would argue everybody above the age of 4 probably has some connection or another to Spider. Like they have the figure.
We know who Spider-Man is.
Spider-Man.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This is for, I think, people who have watched the movies and I'm sure you guys get this all the time with your friends who may not be as in depth when they're like, did this happen in the comics? Was it like this in the comics?
Yeah.
No, this will tell you exactly what that was.
Here you go. Buy the book.
Get the book.
I'm going to do that old Time Life thing. Read the book. But it for those, people like that maybe haven't kept up with the comics that want to jump back in, but need a refresher. Anyone who's interested in just like how Spider-Man became what he is today. Some of it does cover the development and the Stan Lee and Steve Ditko of it all, and sort of where how Spider-Man arose in the sort of in the culture, like as it was happening, what the influences coming before, how he was sort of a reaction to the muscle men of the golden age,
Yep.
and how he came to be. Yeah.
No, that's good. If you had the opportunity to write another For Dummies, what character would you
if they
like
said
to do?
if they said popularity,
You can write
doesn't
it.
matter, any character that you could choose, what would you do?
Any character? I mean, Doctor Doom. I was going to say the Fantastic Four, but Justin
Justin did it. Yeah.
He was given that before they even came to me with Spider-Man, because I think is my other big love of Marvel. But specifically within that is Doctor Doom. I love Doctor Doom. I remember when I got hired at Marvel, one of the questions in one of the interviews was who was my favorite character and why. And and it was Doctor Doom. And the reason is because I feel like Doctor Doom is a character who, and we'll see if the movies prove me wrong, but like can kind of only exist in comics. He is such a comic book character.
Yes.
He is a king of his own little nation. He's in a metal suit all the time. He knows magic, and he talks in this arch third person. Like that is a character that can't. I mean, obviously, could in some version exist off the page, but to my mind, like exemplifies what makes superhero comics. Right? Is this just like over the top Kirby-esque? Just arch character. And I love Doom. I think he's so fascinating. So if they wanted to give me a Doctor Doom book, I would definitely do that.
That would be relevant coming soon, wouldn't it?
Doom for Dummies.
A Doom for Dummies.
Doom for Dummies.
Right before the movies come out. Now I'm gonna tie back into that. Sure. Do you visit comic book shops? Are you a frequenter? All right. So we visit more than we possibly should. Probably. There's one not far from us in New Jersey that recently opened called Doomsday Comics.
Operation Doomsday.
And they have it's like a museum to Dr. Doom inside.
Yeah,
that's so
tons
cool.
of Doom stuff. Tons. It's absolutely
fantastic.
They even have MF Doom masks in like cases
that's
in there and
awesome.
stuff. Yeah.
It's a fantastic if you ever make a trip to
if you're ever in what part of Jersey was it?
I can't think of it right
now. It's in New Jersey.
It's in New Jersey. It's in New Jersey.
I love that. I just got it's up here, but I got this Dr. Doom mask. Maybe I can. There he is.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
My daughter was just bidding on that in an auction in Disney World for me.
Yeah. Oh really?
Yeah. Cassidy was trying to win that for me recently. Now you wear that around the house when you're not on camera, right?
Yeah.
You wear when you're writing.
You pretend you're Doom.
I got a wedding coming up, so I gotta get that suit to match. It's gonna be.
That's how you will. That's how you will write the Doom for Dummies with the mask on.
Doom demands a sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of that. Like, it's a lot of the third person. It's really off-putting to everyone around me, but it makes me feel great.
But who cares? You don't.
Exactly.
Who cares?
Doom does not care for the feelings of lesser folk. It's a very appealing part of my personality.
Perfectly done. So what else? What do you have? What else do you have coming up that people can look for? Everyone should be buying this.
I think that's
right after this.
For Dummies. That's my number one right now. Again, check out Pressing the Flesh. The whole series is out on all the streamers.
Awesome.
I would say check that out. What else do I have coming up? Check out strangewaysalmanac.com. You can get like sort of a preview of what the print version is going to be. Because it was a project that I started out writing wholly by hand and doing illustrations by hand that I'm translating now into something else. So if you want to get like an early version of what that's going to look like, you can check that out there. And other than that, you can follow me on Instagram.
Okay.
All these links will be in the description, so you could do all of that through the description.
Yep, we'll put them all there.
There you go. We'll put them all there.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Now, do you do appearances with the book?
I haven't yet. Okay. Maybe if if I'm asked, then I would be. But I think mostly the promotional stuff has been mostly online. So
okay,
yeah. But you never know. I think the series, like you guys said earlier, I think has been really successful, at least as like a product. I can't speak to the sales numbers, but I think it's been doing pretty all right. And so hopefully, we'll see more additions in this series. And
we hope so.
I'm hoping to, hopefully I'll get to take one of those on. And keep watching Marvel stuff. Hopefully I've certainly pitched them enough stuff. Maybe one day they'll pick it up.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. I mean, look, hey, if anyone wants to read my treatise on Grant Morrison's X-Men run, it's just sitting there, Marvel. Pick it up.
There we go. Are you going to go this is the last question for me anyway.
Okay, go ahead.
Are you going to go to did you hear about the Jack Kirby pop-up next week?
No, tell me
in Tribeca?
No, tell me more.
There's going to be a Jack Kirby pop-up museum in Tribeca next week.
I have to cut all this, just so you know.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because this will be airing way after that is over.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Well, anyway, there's going to be a pop-up. It's in Tribeca. It's part of the Jack Kirby Museum. And it's part of the, because there's an effort for one of the city council groups in downtown. They're going to rename part of Delancey Street after him.
Oh, no shame.
It's going to be Jack Kirby Way. Yeah, where he grew up. Yeah. So there's a pop-up museum coming to Manhattan in Tribeca, and I think it's next week. I think it runs from November 28th.
That's correct.
8th to December 7th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we're trying to figure.
We're going to try and get there. Yeah.
We're going to get there. We can't. This time of year is the worst time of year to be doing stuff because there's just so much stuff going on with family stuff.
Family. Yeah.
Holidays. It's like nothing.
And since now I'm being forced to edit this out.
Oh, sorry.
If you would
realize it's just on my mind,
If you'd be interested, we're working on a show here on Staten Island. If you'd be interested in coming and hanging out and talk about the book, we actually right after we have to talk to a venue,
flagship brewery,
a venue to get us in there.
Yeah,
I'd love to. Yeah. If you're looking for guests on there,
we're looking for people just come down and set up and hang out and sell some stuff. Now I can cut back in.
Now you can come back in. Sorry, go ahead.
Anyways, as we were saying,
so you are welcome back to on anytime you would like. Anytime you want to promote anything. This was a lot of fun. You're a Kirby fan. You're a Spider-Man fan. We love the book. Love what you're doing.
So glad. Thank you so much.
Anytime you want to come back on, we would love to talk to you about what's next.
Great. Yeah.
Hopefully it's Dr. Doom for Dummies.
I mean, I
was hoping Invisibles for Dummies because good luck making sense out of that.
I mean, I don't think Invisibles is for dummies. I think is the sad truth.
It's not for dummies.
It's very difficult.
I mean, it is. It's an acquired taste. It's not for everybody.
No, it certainly is
very
not.
Psychedelic. I look back at the Invisibles now. I don't know if this is still apropos to talk about a different title, but
the dummy people yell at you, not us.
That's true. I don't think they'll care. But as long as I don't talk about any movie stuff, they'll.
Yes, that was made
clear. Invisibles now, and I even thinking of what was coming out of Vertigo in the day. I'm still shocked that series got made.
I can't believe it either. Yeah, and it's so good, but the references are so unbelievably obscure that before we all had the internet, when that just as that series was ending, everyone just started getting computers in their houses. And I got to tell you, one of the first things when I got my first PC at home that I looked up on the internet was references in the Invisibles. That was one of the first things. I was like, what the hell is Barbalet? What is this stuff? So I had to look it all up. And it was actually incredible that it was there. You could find it.
Ready?
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
Dense. It's dense and it's tough. It's psychedelic and it's odd. And it's very good. But it is one of those products that I feel like came out, or some products is probably a diminutive way to say it, but it's one of those projects that got produced, and I'm so glad that it did. But again, very unclear how they got that greenlit.
I can't believe he did it. Yeah.
Different time, I think.
Yeah.
Certainly was. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. We're sure we'll talk to you again at some point down the road. Thank you so much. Good luck. Maybe we'll see you down the road sometime at it. Somewhere. We'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for your time.
Bye.
Bye.